Today we're jumping into the life of the prophet Elijah, quite a figure from the Old Testament.
Absolutely. Dynamic is the word. A really pivotal character.
And his story, it's not just, ancient text. There's so much here about faith, about courage, things that really hit home today. So let's set the scene. Where and when are we?
We're in mid-9th century BC Israel, specifically the northern kingdom. And spiritually, it's not looking good. You've got King Ahab and Queen Jezebel on the throne, and they are actively promoting the worship of Baal, the Canaanite deity.
Right, Jezebel especially was known for being quite forceful about it, persecuting the Lord's prophets, I believe.
Exactly. It was state-sponsored apostasy, really.
Yeah.
A very dangerous time for followers of Yahweh.
And the people themselves were caught in the middle.
Yeah.
Elijah calls them out for limping between two different opinions.
Trying to hedge their bets, perhaps. Worship Yahweh, but also keep Baal happy, maybe for the rain and crops. It showed a real lack of commitment, a spiritual apathy.
So Elijah's mission was basically to shake them out of it, to demand a choice.
Precisely. To call them back to exclusive loyalty to God, urgently.
Okay, let's unpack how he starts. He disappears seemingly out of nowhere, confronts King Ahab directly.
Yes, and his first act, declaring a drought. As the Lord, the God of Israel lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain these years, except by my word.
Wow, talk about audacious. Especially since Baal was supposed to be the god of storms and rain.
It's a direct challenge right from the outset. Uncompromising faith meeting political and spiritual power head on. It really shows something about, well, the nature of these divine assignments. Sometimes it requires that immediate, bold stand.
And straight after this huge declaration, God tells him to hide. Go to the brook Cherith.
And that's where we get that fascinating detail. God provides for him supernaturally. Ravens bring him bread and meat.
Ravens, unclean birds, according to the law, right? Bringing him food morning and evening. It's such a striking picture of God's unconventional provision.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop there. When the brook dries up, because of the drought he himself declared.
Right. The irony.
God sends outside Israel to Zarephath, to a Gentile widow.
And there, the miracle is the jar of flour and the jug of oil that just don't run out, sustaining him, her, and her son through the famine.
It just keeps emphasizing God's boundless provision, not limited by borders or who you are, even expectations. God provides.
Okay, so all this is building tension. The drought continues for years, which brings us to, arguably, the climax, Mount Carmel.
Ah, yes. The showdown.
Elijah comes back, arranges this massive confrontation, him against, 450 prophets of Baal?
And 400 prophets of Asherah, too, according to the text. He lays down the challenge clearly to the people gathered. How long will you go limping between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And
the people say nothing at first. Silence.
So the contest begins. The prophets of Baal call on their God all morning, gashing themselves, raving. Nothing.
Then it's Elijah's turn. And he does something, well, almost theatrical. He rebuilds the Lord's altar, digs a trench.
And then he has them drench it all with water. 3 times, 12 large jars. Until the trench is full of water too.
Why? I mean, why make it harder to light the fire?
To make the point absolutely undeniable, wouldn't you say?
No.
To remove any possible explanation other than God's direct intervention. No tricks, no lingering embers. It's soaked.
Right. So then he prays. A simple, powerful prayer.
And instantly, the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt offering and the wood and the stones and the dust and licked up the water that was in the trench.
Everything. The stones, the dust, the water, gone.
And the people's reaction.
They fall on their faces. The Lord, he is God. The Lord, he is God. Crystal clear. Undeniable proof.
A huge moment of victory. A turning point, you'd think.
You would. But then, almost immediately, Jezebel hears about it, sends a death threat, and Elijah just runs. He flees into the wilderness, sits under a broom tree, and asks God to take his life.
It's such a stark contrast, isn't it? From the height of Mount Carmel to the depths of despair.
It really is. It raises that question, doesn't it? How can someone who saw that power then be so afraid, so discouraged?
It shows us the reality of human vulnerability, even for prophets. Spiritual highs don't make you immune to exhaustion, fear, or emotional lows. Burnout is real.
And how does God respond? Not with rebuke, necessarily.
No, it's remarkably gentle. He provides food, rest. Then at Mount Horeb, the mountain of God, there's wind, earthquake, fire. But God isn't in those powerful displays.
He speaks in the sound of a low whisper, a gentle stillness.
Exactly. offering restoration, renewed purpose, not condemnation. Meeting Elijah right there in his weakness, quietly.
And eventually Elijah does pass on his mantle to Elisha, but his own departure from earth, that's unique too.
Oh, absolutely. No ordinary death for Elijah. The account says chariots of fire and horses of fire appear, separating him from Elisha.
And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. Incredible. It just cements his extraordinary status. So let's pull this together. What's the enduring legacy here? What does Elijah's story mean for you listening right now?
Well, connecting it to the bigger biblical picture, Elijah's influence is huge. The very last book of the Old Testament, Malachi, prophesies his return before the great and awesome day of the Lord.
And Christians see that fulfilled, at least in part, by John the Baptist, coming in the spirit and power of Elijah to prepare the way for Jesus.
Precisely. And then think about the transfiguration in the New Testament, who appears talking with Jesus. Moses representing the law, and Elijah representing the prophets.
Signifying Jesus as the fulfillment of both, layers upon layers of meaning.
But beyond the prophetic threads, there's so much practical wisdom for us today, for you.
But like what? What can you grab hold of?
Well, first, that unwavering faithfulness. Standing for God even when it feels like you're completely alone amidst widespread spiritual compromise or apathy. Think about where you might feel that pressure.
That's a big one. And trusting God's provision day by day. The ravens, the widow's oil. It challenges our self-reliance, doesn't it? How much do you really trust God for your daily needs?
Absolutely. Then there's the courage piece.
Yeah.
Confronting deception, confronting apathy, like on Mount Carmel. It's a call for boldness in our own spheres of influence.
And maybe counterintuitively, after that boldness, the importance of listening for God's voice in the quiet, in the silence. Especially when you're feeling fear or discouragement, like Elijah at Horeb. God often speaks in the whisper, not the earthquake.
Yes, that's crucial. And finally, don't forget the idea of legacy. Elijah mentored Elisha. It reminds us it's not just about our faith journey, but about investing in the next generation too.
So Elijah's life, it's this powerful testament, really. God's power, God's faithfulness, but also God's call for our wholehearted worship.
Undivided loyalty.
Right. And his story, it's not just history locked away in a book. It's alive. It challenges your complacency, maybe. It invites you to consider what a prophetic witness, that kind of devotion, that uncompromising commitment to truth might look like in your life right now.
Where might you be limping between two opinions?
That's the question to leave you with. What would unwavering faithfulness look like for you today?